me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Who am I but I'm Dre Mac? Came into the game just to spit facts. Into the space that I'm in. They got me by the dirt cause I'm cold with the pen. I run no diamonds but I still shine. You can dig me cause my bar's mine. My tracks flame like a dilute. I order blood on my tongue. Thinking this is warm blue. I'ma throw with a gas leak. Camouflage in the mist but you smell me. One spark and I bet you I'ma blow up. Just throw my name around. Get stupid then you go dumb. No rest for the weary. A versus thinking in his man, but you can't see me. You rather drink, nigga, pull up, but took a knife through the game, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. I came to eat at the a la carte. Got stripped of a bear, call me brainstorm. Then I come together like a Voltron. Then I pour all the planks to use Decepticons. Straight rappers to retreat like Cobra. 80s they can float they like. Up in the storage and I'm man. Up, down, down, man, I'm cheap. You a beast, man. I take a beat in. Ninja turtle rap, turtle glands, get defeated. High samurai, you can call me Night Rider. You can never stop me, cause I'm a guy bomb. Bad attitude like a rocket, my whole to the A, and I bet you can't stop us. LL bad when I go and show up. You can hear the haters in the back. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie. Let me get him where I fit in, homie.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is going on, everybody? What is going on? This is your man Dre Mac coming to you again with another episode of the Dre Mac Show. 7:30 in the morning Central Time, 8:30 on the East Coast. You're from the West Coast right now. Go ahead and get up, because you already know that the early bird gets the worm. And on today, we're going to do the recap on episode 6 of The Last of Us. And when I tell you, this is my personal opinion, this has been the best episode of the entire series in my perspective. It's literally been the best episode. The acting, everything was on point. Very emotional episode, because now you see the backstory and everything of what happened to I can't think of his name right now. We're gonna get to it when we get to it. But when Tommy killed what's his name? And I can't think of his name right now, but and basically telling that lie to Ellie and her figuring out, you know, everything that happened with the Fireflies. It was good. I'm not gonna lie, it was good. I went back. Oh, let me watch that scene again. No, let me watch that again. Good. You know, a lot of flashbacks, and I know the people who played the video game got their satisfaction today because they played a lot of the cutscenes from the video game in this episode. You know, especially the birthday scenes and all of that. It makes perfect and it's good storytelling, because it ends, episode 5 ends in a way where you see Ellie wake up with Joel saying, good morning, kiddo. And you're trying to figure out what's going on. Is she dreaming this or whatever? We're just coming back to the flashback, and it was good. I say this episode, and then the episode not Frank. Is it Frank? From last 2 best episodes they have done. So we're going to get into it today. Hopefully you guys are happy. Hopefully you guys are healthy. Shout out to my man Heavy Gant over at the Heavy Gant React channel. But you already know how I do. The real question is, are you All right, all right, all right, all right. I had to clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. I bet that's where Toria Ray Reloaded. What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. The church IT Roberta's in the house. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Prince Setta is in the building. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You said Dre, you inspired the live I'm doing later on this evening. Well, partially. I still because I worked Saturday. I slept majority. I didn't sleep majority of the day. Um, but I and if you haven't seen, I went to go see Final Destination Bloodlines. Boy, on Love Jones, you know that song was like what like a penny with a hole in it. I don't know what penny that they had at Final Destination Bloodline, but that's the strongest penny I have ever seen in my life. That I laughed through every single death scene. I thought everything was funny. Something is wrong with me. The Curious Case of the Cursed Coin, or AKA Fatality, the movie, part 5. It was good. It was cool. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It's just return to formula for Final Destination. You know, so what is up, Erica D, aka She Loves Fantasy? Good morning, Andrea. The shade definitely was. Uh that mug. This episode was good, though. This episode was good. Xavier Phoenix, what's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Look, I was sitting there, Erica. Erica, when I tell you, I'm in the movie theater and this dude next to me, I got a little seat by myself, and I guess the person who bought the tickets, they bought a row up, and dude was sitting next to me, and he kept looking at me laughing at some of these death scenes. Like, I don't know if I'm desensitized or what, but I just laughed. I thought it was funny. And it was a couple people that deserved to die, and I hope they burned in hell. And I got the satisfaction. Oh my God, was I laughing? One of them was a kid. You shouldn't laugh at a kid. Like, man, I was cracking up. I was chuckling. It was feeling good in my tum-tum. That's all I'm going to say. It was feeling very good in my tum-tum. And I thought it was hilarious. So yeah, that was that. I need to finish. I need to do a what is up, Tina, aka Minty guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I need to do and edit my Ironheart video, my second video, where I tell everybody that they're stupid. Because I've literally been arguing with people, and I get it. Most of the people that are coming to my posts or coming to my actual my video, they have never. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I got a ton of Ironheart comic books, because I don't. I've read her more on digital than anything, especially after they took away my local comic shop. MyComicShop.com, I didn't have the best experience with them when it came to my order, not my orders, because my orders is always good. It's my so I would every Wednesday I would go up to it's vintage stock, but they sold comics, and I had my subscriptions, right? So every Wednesday I'll pick up my subs, right? Yeah, I mean every other Wednesday, because it came every 2 weeks. And then that particular one stopped selling DC because DC wasn't selling. Well, I got people over here talking about Ironheart. Nobody cared about Ironheart. It wasn't selling in the comics. Dude, DC was so bad that they stopped selling almost all DC comic books except the big 3. And Wonder Woman wasn't selling that big either. Because I would go in there and we'll chop it up, and they will say, they knew that I had a YouTube channel, so they will always chop it up with me about like what they get in order, what do I need, all of that. I had a really good relationship with those guys, and I really hate that particular store moved to Arkansas, but they were telling me about different comics and stuff like that 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 didn't sell, or they're not getting a lot of revenue. And it's not just DC, it's overall comics, period. In the words of Egon Spangler, because I had to put this down, print is dead. And a lot of people are going digital with the comics. I mean, you still got people that, like I do, go back, especially older editions. I like collecting I like collecting a lot of older comics. I like reading more newer comics. I know that sounds weird, you know what I mean? Because there's events and stuff like that back in the 90s that spread over like 100 and some odd, like the Executioner song, or Onslaught. There's so many comics that you have to get to combine the whole entire story to understand in the entirety of Onslaught. It's ridiculous, but it's still fun to collect those. You know what I mean? The newer comics, because a lot of the issues are going, maybe 15. You can get a pretty good run, and a lot of them is doing it because it's easier to sell the trade paperback, or the omnibus or whatever you call it. You know what I mean? But I say that the trade paperback is more palatable because then you don't have to buy each individual comic. So, a lot of people that, are arguing about Ironheart don't know, because for one, they don't care. For most of the majority of these people don't read, and that's why I was saying about my brothers that was coming, and talking wild about Ironheart. I'm like, yo, y'all are tripping. Y'all want all of this, and I do agree. Should have got Monica Rambeau because she was introduced in a bigger way. In WandaVision and stuff like that, and then she was in the Marvels. Yes, but also, I don't know what Marvel's doing with the character. Are they setting her up to be a movie star or a TV star? And if I had my choice, with Monica Rambeau, I want her to be a movie star. I want Tiana Paris to be a movie star. Because she has movie star all over her. She's not a Netflix, or Amazon Prime actor. She has movie star potential, so if I want to see her on anything, that's what I would love to see her in a movie, her own movie, if I have my choice. But the way that the races are and stuff like that, because I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of the races didn't like Black Panther either. So it ain't just it wasn't until Chadwick died and everybody wanted to have a soft spot. Now, you didn't have no soft spot when black people was dressing up like Akeem from Coming to America and all this African wardrobe, taking over movie theaters, buying out movie theaters, all of that stuff. A lot of people didn't like that either. And it's funny, and shout out to Evolutionary Comics, because I was listening to him before I got on. And the crazy thing is that Brian Michael Bendis created Ironheart in March of 2016, which I already knew that, but he created that character in March of 2016. And it's crazy that everybody gets called her DI Iron Man and all of that and stuff like that when Iron Man recruited her. These are the things that they don't want to know. It's funny because, like I said, people look at stuff and say, oh, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want it. I don't like it. I don't this. I don't that. The best thing you could do is hide it in the book. I mean, that's what they basically used to say about black people. If you want to hide something, put it in the book. And a lot of the brothers that I see coming to me, like, I don't care, this character's trash, this character's this character's this character's this. You know, Brian Michael Bendis created that character literally in the height of Chirac. In the height of Chirac. And it was also crazy. I literally just seen a sister that graduated high school with like 36 offers to colleges across the country. And people think Riri Williams being a genius is something that is just crazy. It's wild the way people think. But I'm going to do a video. I just wanted to kind of get that off. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do a video about that sometime soon. I still have my Weird Science, me and Mika G's reaction. It's my first time watching it in a long time, and I forgot a lot. I forgot the whole entire movie and watch. It's almost like watching it for the first time since I watched it ever since I was a little kid. So I still got that to edit. So I got a lot of stuff to do for you guys, but yeah, this particular episode of The Last of Us was really, really good. And then you get to see a lot of things about Joel in his past that actually explains, you know, him in his future. And I got some choice words for old Joel here. That I'm gonna get to in a minute, but this is a word from our sponsors. Hold up, wait a minute, wait, whoa. Stop everything you're doing. Go and hit that like button. I know this is probably your first time watching and you probably enjoying everything. Stop fucking on the channel and go and hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos or one of my morning live streams. And for only $2.99 a month, you know you can be a part of the crew. And shout out to all my crew members that have been holding it down for Dre Mack and the crew since the beginning. All right, back to your regularly scheduled program, now in service. Go. Bye. And be positive. What's up? What's up? Um, and make sure that you guys, if you want to be a part of the crew, all you got to do is hit the join button. It's $2.99 a month. If you want to be a part of the crew, but shout out to everybody, all the new crew members. Like I said, I'm waiting a month because I had so many giveaways as far as like subs to join to be a part of the crew. I want to see if these people renew before I make a whole new video and put this stuff down or whatever. No problem, Erica D. You know, I appreciate you, Roberta, Robin D, all of y'all who support the channel, Tina, Torian, you know what I'm saying? All of you guys. I really, Prasada, you know, I always appreciate you guys. So I want to make sure that you guys are being recognized. You know what I mean? I want to try to do more as far as that, but I want to make sure that you guys are being recognized and be positive. You're absolutely, you know what's funny? That Captain America and the Thunderbolts is going to make equal amount of money. And that should tell you everything that's going on right now. And kind of keep it a buck. I mean, Thunderbolts is a better made movie. Just being honest with you, it's a better made movie than Captain America Brave New World. Because like I said, to me, Captain America Brave New World, after watching The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it is a rehash of that show, but with other elements in there. And to me, characters is not supposed to be in there, just to me. But everybody, you know, oh man, John Walker is so good, and oh man, you know, Ghost is in it, you know, which I love her. Yelena Belova, you know, Red Guardian. You know, which all of them did an amazing job. Of course, Bob Reynolds Century, but he's the original character. But guess what? Yelena Belova is a derivative of Natasha Romanoff. Guess what? Red Guardian and John Walker is and Bucky Barnes, derivatives of Captain America. Nobody has a problem with that. Riri Williams just being a derivative of Tony Stark, but in a Batmanish war type of way, problem. So they do. And you're absolutely correct. Sinners did breathe. Because when I first went to go see, when like last night when I went to go see Bloodlines, and I'm gonna leave the review stuff. I went to it just to watch it because tonight I'm not gonna be on the Blurred AF. I gotta work. But but whenever I get a chance to speak with Mika G about it, I can be able to talk on it because normally I don't really watch a lot more of the horror films like she does. But it got packed. At first, I'm like, ain't nobody here. And then, about 5 minutes into the trailers, everybody starts showing up. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Also, WB may be the studio of the year because all their movies have hit so far. Minecraft, Sinners, and now Bloodlines. Superman doesn't need to make $1 billion now because of the cushion. It really did. You absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. It does not. And Sinners was a cat. Well, let me take that back. Sinners and Minecraft came out like gangbusters, even though Minecraft is not a good movie. It's not a good movie. It was just a phenomenon for people who like Minecraft. And I don't like Minecraft like that. And the people who do, I'm happy for them because they got exactly what they wanted out of that movie. As far as movie-wise, watching it, not good whatsoever. Not good whatsoever. So, but yeah, and then Sinners is, I wasn't expecting this. And then Final Destination Bloodlines, I think, hit 108 this weekend. You know what I mean? With them taking my little $13. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I'm happy for Warner Brothers. And again, this is going, and if Warner Brothers hits, because let's think about it like this. Warner Brothers has been winning on HBO, is it Max or HBO Max or what is it now? I don't know. Max, they hit on like the Penguin. As far as like their properties that they got right now, they hit on the Penguin. You know what I mean? The Penguin was great, phenomenal. You know what I mean? As far as Warner Brothers properties, put it more like that. I don't know if The Last of Us is considered a Warner Brothers property like that. But, still a great show. Peacemaker is going to come, and what Peacemaker did in season 1 was short of phenomenal to me. I wasn't expecting that. Wasn't expecting it, and I can't wait to cover it this season. But yeah, they don't need to hit. The Batman was good. Like, dude, they're literally being, it's a $90 property, but I don't know if I'm talking about Warner Brothers as far as like if they wanted to get like film and production rights and stuff like that, or what you got, distribution rights, that type of stuff. So, I'm not for sure. That's what I mean by a property. And like I said, you got Superman coming out. You're gonna have Mortal Kombat, coming out soon. So yeah, they don't have to hit 1 million. They just need to stay. I think it's going to hit. My prediction of Superman is anywhere between $750 to $800 million by the end of his run. If it hit 1 billion, cool. But I'm looking at that. The only reason why, because you still got James Gunn fans that liked him from Guardians of the Galaxy. And Guardians of the Galaxy surprise people will hit around that amount. But that was literally in the height of Marvel was just putting out banger after banger after banger after banger. So, yeah. Oh, Scott Lang, derivative of Hank Pym. Anyway, let's keep going. All right, let me switch gears because I'm about to go off. Let me switch gears real quick. And let's get into The Last of Us episode 6. And let's talk about this episode because this episode was fire. Oh, Ant-Man's daughter, Cassie Lang, being super duper smart to create a quantum tunnel or quantum things and you go to the quantum realm, nobody better than I. Nobody better than I. She was smarter than Hank Pym. But people got a problem with Riri Williams. Boy, people were slow. Anyway, how we start off this episode. Good God, what? We start this episode where a young Tommy and Joe. And again, I'm going to, and if this is your first time watch this, and you probably skipped ahead to this point of the video, thank you for watching. But I'm going to skip ahead. Every 10 seconds so I don't get in trouble with HBO, discussing The Last of Us, a recap of my own funny, unique, type of way. And yeah, let's go. All right, so we start with a young Tommy and Joe. Tommy, is taking up for his brother because his brother was out here, buying the wacky tobacco. You know what I'm saying? And homie got beat up. You know what I'm saying? And then Tommy had to come in there, you know what I'm saying, and beat up the kids, you know what I'm saying, who was trying to stick it for his paper. Damn. So, and they got a good cast. Like I said, this actor, that's playing a young Tommy, looks like he could grow up to be a Pedro, but just put a mustache on this kid. He could grow up to be a young Pedro Pascal. Good morning, Robert D. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh, most definitely, Toria. Most definitely. That scene at the scene on the porch is the best acting I've seen all season long from start to finish. And that's why I said the presence of Pedro Pascal. I know he's in everything and people get upset about, which I don't think he's in everything, but that's what people say when they get tired of somebody getting a job. He just got a job. That's it. He did an excellent job in here. So Tommy, what I noticed about Tommy was going to take the brunt of the punishment for his brother, say, I did it or whatever. Old Tony Dalton, aka Swordsman, shows up in this episode. All of this was good acting. All of this was good acting. His dad is a cop. His dad, hits his brother. Maybe he hits him too, Lord. I mean, I grew up getting whoopings. You know what I mean? But maybe he taking the whoopings a little too far. I don't know. It didn't get explained. We didn't see no flashbacks. But Tommy, didn't want his dad to be hit. Joel, that's good saying Tommy this whole time. Joel didn't want his brother to be beat by his father. So Joel, this is what I knows about Joel. And this plays out to what happens at the end. Towards the end of the episode. Joel has a hero complex. He wants to be the savior. And I know everybody knows someone who tries to save everything, who tries to come in, jump in, like, yo, I got it. But, they want to save everything. And they would even, they'll even take an ass whooping for you. You know what I mean? Because they want to save you so much because they want to be a protector. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a protector, but Joe literally has a hero complex because of trauma. You know what I mean? And it doesn't go into, any type of detail that they lost, that he lost his mom or something like that. And that's the reason why he developed this. It does go into detail about how his father, and there it's funny because they're sharing a beer, but it does go into detail about how his grandfather, Joel's grandfather and Tommy's grandfather, was beating the brakes out of his dad. And he just wanted to be better than his father. He said, yeah, I hit you from time to time, but you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be better. And as a father myself, only thing we can try to do is just be better for our kids, be better than the previous generation. Now, I don't think my father would have a problem with me saying that, my particular father went to prison. My dad went to prison before I was born. You know what I mean? And spent, almost 20 years, in the penitentiary. And one thing that my father said to me is, when he got out, and I think the first time he got out, I was 12. And the second time he got out after he finished almost his, 85% of his sentence, um, I was 19, at the time. And, the biggest thing he said is, I just want you to be better than I am. I want you to be better than me. The decisions and stuff that I made or whatever did not benefit me whatsoever. And I just want you to be better. And that's the dialogue that Joel's dad gave to him. In a very emotional scene, he said, look, my dad, your grandfather, hit me so hard it wired my jaw. He said, and everybody knew what happened. He said, yeah, I hit you, but I just want you to be better than me. So now you see why, throughout season 1 and even in parts of season 2, Joel always trying to protect the ones he loves, because he doesn't want to see them hurt, and that's a sign of a good man, but it depends on what are you trying to save and what type of consequences come from saving, because sometimes you got to let people go. If you love something, you got to let it go. You know what I mean? If you truly love something. So in here, we never seen if he loved something, did he really let it go? Because he couldn't. His daughter is gone. Now, he had an opportunity to let Ellie go and couldn't because of that hero complex that he has. And then we get up with the bar guy. You remember the episode 1 where him and Ellie got into it or whatever, and that was the kissing scene. Straight after the video game, he gets pushed. He didn't even get punched. He just got shoved down or whatever. You know what I mean? And I was still mad because he still apologized and Ellie was still being a dick, but maybe that was her character. And now I understand. This episode gave me clarity on why Ellie is just so angry. I'm like, why is she being so evil this episode? She was pissing me off. Like, literally, as a character, she was pissing me off. Now I understand why. I understand why she was being so evil in this episode. You know what I mean? It makes a lot of sense. So in this particular scene, he's trading in a bag of Legos, that he found in the home, and can't think of his brother's name off the top, but he went to go search the homes, couldn't find nothing. He's like, I'm used to smuggling. It's what I do. And he was like, yo, I didn't used to be like this. I was a cop from Milwaukee. He said this episode was better than the last 3. This is the best. This in the episode last season. With Frank, these are the best episodes. The 2 best episodes of the season. Seth. Yeah, Seth. I couldn't think of the brother's name. But yeah, so he was letting them know that he was a cop in Milwaukee, before coming here. And these are all flashbacks because this is his second month being there, but he was making he needed to trade the Legos to make a cake for Ellie for her birthday. He also fix up a guitar for her, to give it to her with her own, mauve signature. And we got to see that in this episode, and this is the episode where, we get to find out where did you get those burns? Because she burnt her arm, and we see the tattoo that was, that she was trying to cover up the burn mark. But to me, you hear her call Ellie baby girl, and she's loopy because she was on some medication and stuff like that. So she was being all loopy and all of that, and she got dared to do it and got a chemical burn. But he was calling her baby girl. And if you go all the way back to season 1, episode 1, where his daughter dies, he was like, baby girl, stay with me, baby girl. So he has made the transition to now be her surrogate daughter. And that's what it is. he was so he was so hurt, you know, about him losing his daughter, which we already knew. He took on the characteristics of, now I'm gonna be your dad. I even though biologically that's not her dad, he's only been with her for X amount of time. You know, also in that same breath, you know, Joel is a pathological liar, with an hero complex, and he just wanted to have something. I get it. You want to have something so you could be able to have something that for him, the way I got out of this episode, for him, this was his purpose to try. He was forcing a purpose to take care of her because he didn't want to lose her, because he grew an attachment. I told y'all she would have been cargo, drop you off. Hey, I gotta go. I'll holler at you later. But to him, she was more than just cargo because of everything he lost. And I can understand that to a certain extent, because after that, what are you doing? What are you really doing? You are setting yourself up for a person that was supposed to go one way, and you totally changed her trajectory. And then you thought she was supposed to, a person like that supposed to be okay with it. That's just like if I was dating someone and I left out a whole bunch of stuff, that was vital for us being together, man. You know what I mean? Yes, I selfishly love this person, but this person going to resent me because I wasn't being wholeheartedly truthful with them. So she get her 15th birthday and she get the Eli cake, and just she's being a little kid. She's eating the cake, and he's laughing about it. You know what I mean? But this is where he gave her the guitar, or he said some folks call this a guitar. He give her a guitar for her birthday. He wants her to play and sing a song. So he starts singing. I think this is the Pearl Jam song that she sung last week. But, Pedro Pascal can't sing for crap. You know what I mean? So this is nowhere close to his video game counterpart. Because I did see the side-by-side, thanks to heavy spoilers showing the side-by-sides. And, yeah, they did it better. They did it better. But, that was a special moment. And this came straight out of the video game. Also, watching the end of the episode when they do the recap and they talk about certain things and how they built the set or whatever, and her going towards the aerospace museum and the dinosaur. And they literally took a lot of things, that they said, that they did in the video game and put it in the actual movie. And again, video games, you got a lot of civil liberties when you're going around and you got to do stuff and talk and all of that. Some things it just plays out too long because it's a video game. I'm glad certain things are cut, from it. Again, like I said, there were certain parts of episode 5 I wish they would have cut, but still good stuff. She got to get on the mother dinosaur, which they did in the video game, which again, this girl got I keep forgetting how bad her mouth is. This girl got a mouth on her. You know what I mean? She was on the mother dinosaur. That's what she said. You know what I mean? And he's trying to tell her to get down because, because he wanted to take her to but she was like, oh, there's a museum over there. She was like, let's go. And he knows that she really likes dinosaurs. And she thought about, space and all of that stuff. And he's giving her the best birthday party, the best birthday ever. And again, this was directly from the video game, which I already seen this on the cutscenes years ago, when the series first came out, and I just watched all the cutscenes. So he got he got into the capsule, went to go get break glass in case of emergencies to go get a helmet, went to go get a helmet, and went inside the capsule. And again, all the dialogue and all of this stuff literally straight for the video game. She does cuss a lot more than more than me, which really really is a lie. Dang, Eric, you be cussing like that? Nah, I be cussing too. I mean, I went like 4 straight years without cussing. 4. So, and then I'm sorry, Roberta, I had to. People were making me mad. It's like people were making me mad, and yeah, yeah. Eventually, it started all the way over again. So, again, this whole scene, which I can't, I could play a little bit, but I can't play all of it. um, I think mine got worse the more deeper into these into these 4 O's that I'm getting. The deeper I'm getting, because I'm getting close, Erica. I'm getting close. But I look good though. But so she gets to have her Apollo 11 moment and all of that, and it was dope. You know what I'm saying? Super cool. You know, and she enjoyed herself. Now, you know, and I'm trying to get to the dialogue where she starts to notice certain things. Yeah, I did repent, but the cussing spirit keeps coming. And sometimes you can't fight the feeling. So that's why. Sometimes you need to let that out. You know, you can't bottle everything up. You know what I mean? So so she looked and she seen the fireflies, and it made her think about the actual fireflies. Right? Made her think of that, and made her think about you know, what Joel actually said to her. Now, again, this is going through a montage of her birthday. We went from 15. No, we went from 16 to 17 on this one. Or 15 to 17. And this time, you know, he busts her, you know, when he comes in, he's like, what's going on now? You know, she was getting a tattoo, but it's also they were putting on they clothes. I don't think they wasn't doing anything, but I don't know what was going on. You know what I mean? So he was like, I came on. He was like, you just gonna give me all of the teen stuff, just all of it, tattoos, sex, girls. You like girls, you know. And I think this is the first time she'll realize that she was a lesbian. You know, it's just so all the teenage ish at once, huh? You know. So now I try not to cuss in front of people that I know that don't like all of that. I try to be respectful. But when it comes to these races, I'm sorry, Roberta. But this is again, this is you know, flashing back to certain things. Now, hold on, I'm trying to see what this is where she's coming in. She's trying to move her stuff, and she was moving. This is when she was moving her stuff to the garage, and she was upset. You know what I mean? In all of this stuff, and she just really wanted to have space. She just really wanted to just do her own thing or whatever. You know, she's growing up, and sometimes it's hard when you grow up and you know you're becoming, you know, even my own kids becoming an adult and getting their own stuff. They gonna want to move in a way that's contrary to what you think, but you know, he still softened up to her. You know, and all of that, you know, even said, you know, your tattoo is cool. You know what I mean? What does the moth means, and and all of that. But she's growing up. So, which this is again, him moving in the rain, pure genius. That one. Right. Yeah, she was tripping. American Need You girl, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, she was tripping moving in the like putting yourself in the garage while it's pouring. Like, yeah, not the best moves. But now we get to Kevin McAllister's mom. That's what she's gonna be in here forever. Kevin McAllister's mom. Uh he did. How much he needed her, but Erica, isn't it selfish if you really think about it? He needed her, but at the same time, that's not his. Like, I guess after Tommy went and got a wife, got a kid, why he didn't give that energy to his nephew. But again, that's his trauma because, again, that's just like, you know, I'm trying to protect you, like Erica D. Like if I'm trying to, I'm with you and I'm trying to protect you and all of that, but I'm still being selfish in my intent on why I'm doing it. Is, because I don't want to be alone. I don't want to, I already lost, someone, I don't want to lose nobody else. And here you come along. So I attach myself to you. That's a trauma bond. That's what the real definition of a trauma bond really is. And that's not fair to me. That's not fair to Ellie because she didn't ask for it. She wasn't saying, hey, I need a dad. I need somebody to watch out for me. I need this. I need that. Hell, her little badass was just doing something to be doing anyway. You know what I mean? So, because she didn't have a father. She didn't have a mother. She had different people, and all of that. But yeah. Yeah, he's codependent. So we get to Kevin McAllister's mom, and it's kind of jacked up now that I know the truth. That's the reason why she wasn't paying him no attention, no nothing, all season, because what he did was jacked up. What he did was jacked up, and he tried to find out what the dreams mean, or what the tattoo means and all of that. It can mean different stuff. And she was telling them, yeah, it could mean death. So this is her moving. So now we're in 2 years later. Now she's 19. And we get to the situation that's leading up to Joel and what he the scene in the dance, New Year's. This is leading up to New Year's. Give me just a second, real quick, guys. I'm gonna be right back. All right, sorry about that. All right, so and she's starting to ask some questions because again, she's been curious about what happened today, with Marlene and going to the Fireflies and all of that. What happened that day? You know what I'm saying? What happened to Marlene? What happened to all of this stuff? So this is the day that he was going to take her out on patrol on her birthday, her 19th birthday. He promised he was going to take her out patrol. So then they start talking about, what's the things to do while you're on that patrol. And that's when there was some that they got a call in that there was an infected, down there, and she let him know, look, I'm not your effing kid. So we're partners, not, and I think that was a reality shock. You know what I mean? Still for him, like, she's keep letting me know that she's not my kid, but I'm gonna keep treating her like my kid anyway because I'm selfish. So he gets down here. What is my man's? What is, I mean, it's Joe OPP. Yeah, you know me. Other people's property. Yeah, but Joe Peliantano, I think I pronounced his name right, from the Bad Boys franchise, and he was in episode of Chucky too. You know, and many other things. You know, not Elisha. What is guy's name? Good Lord, I forgot his name. But find out that he got bit. You know what I mean? So they go through this whole thing, and he was like, "Look, you know, before I turn, can you just give me back to my wife so I can say goodbye to her because, you know, I want to say goodbye to my wife, you know, which is Kevin McAllister's mom." And you know, Joe's like, nah, he's ready to shoot dude dead now. We ain't trying to wait. We ain't trying to have nothing. You could turn. Nope, I'm not doing it. And you know, Ellie was the one who was like, you right, Informant Media. It does speak to her selfishness too. You know, he said I would have kept him in front of Ellie, but you know, he was like, you know, just let him see his wife for one last time, you know. And I don't know, because, you know, yeah, they might have a time frame. He's like, I might have an hour before I change and all of that. I don't trust that. Especially these evolved clickers and stuff like that. I get why he did it. I'm mad because he lied to her. So he made her do the, you know, made him do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You know, if you know, you know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. So he passed the test, and she said, please, in the look in her eyes. See, this is, again, this is, I think, her dynamic in this show, because they already established it. And I think that's the reason why I was having so much of a hard time, you know, with her being the lead, is because we already established this relationship between her and Joel. So when she's not on screen with Joel, it's very hard. But when she's on screen with Joel, she's fantastic. You know what I mean? And maybe because Pedro Pascal is bringing more out of her, I don't know. But she's fantastic. And she was fantastic in there. And she was like, you know, he was telling her, go get the horses, bring it down the trail, and I'm gonna do it. And he was like, I pray. He looked at her dead directly. He's like, you're not gonna do it. He gave her the same look, you know, that he did when he asked her at the end of season 1 about what happened, how they escaped the fireflies. It's the electric company. Yep. But you know, he lied to her, and you know, he took the dude down by the creek and gave him the old Yeller treatment. You know what I mean? Hey, you know, people can see. He was like, nah, people can see they loved ones in their eyes right now. And he was like, huh, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? And he was like, he said, I just need to see her face. And he was begging us to see his wife. Now, I don't know how that would have worked if he's riding on the back of the horse with anybody or anything, and then say for instance he check. Do you take that risk? Right? And he was like, if you love somebody, you'll see him anyway. So he was like, I could see her. And then, you know, pow, old Yeller treatment. When the birds scattered, they even played a sound. The birds scattered. I already knew what happened. You know what I mean? And he's just making his face like this is something he got to live with. You know what I'm saying? And when she came back, he knew. He lied. And he just looking like I know I messed up. You know, I lied to her. I lied to her. And again, Joel has been lying his whole life to people he loved, to protect them in any way, shape, form, or fashion, to protect her, you know, to protect them. That's how he did. So they wrapped up his body, kind of like what they did with Joel, and drug his ass back to Jackson. You know what I mean? And he said, when we get there, I'll tell Gail what she needs to know and nothing more. But man, I was not expecting the twist. Again, this is when you play the cutscenes and you don't play the video game, when you're just watching cutscenes. So He brings her back to Kevin McAllister's mom. Joel tells this story about he was bit when we found him. Um, I had to do it. I had to shoot him. You know what I'm saying? But he gave his final, thing, said he loved you and yada 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 lies. And Ellie was like, dang what he said. He wanted to come up here and say goodbye to himself. And he had little under an hour to do it. And he wanted to say goodbye before he turned. And Joel robbed him of that. And Kevin McAllister's mom found out about that. And that's why she hates his guts. From this whole entire season, now we understand why, Kevin McAllister's mom did not like him. So this is the day of the party. This is when he he was looking at what was going on, seeing Jesse and Ellie together. And it's funny because in the earlier part of the episode, Joel, says, hey, I see the way you be eyeing Jesse. He's like, if you only knew. You know what I'm saying? I do not like that. Yeah, he did say he also deleted himself, which, I've been like, let me see the gunshot wound. How did he delete himself with that 12 gauge shotgun in the back of his head? Man, he said he was brave. Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. And what's crazy about that is that lady could have got satisfaction. You know what I mean? Now, if they would have had to put him in a cage or something, I don't know. Do you bind them up and drag them back? I don't know how you do it. You know what I mean? I don't know how you do it before he turns, but we done seen advanced clickers and all of that stuff. Again, I can see both sides. You know what I mean? I think, Ellie made a promise that she wanted to do the right thing. Joe didn't want to take any chances, even though but then, say for instance, and this is also the thing, say for instance, he does drag her back. He turns, bites Ellie. Listen to what I'm saying. Bites Ellie. Joel shoots him. Now you got to explain to the whole town why Ellie is immune. And then you have to explain. Then the whole town's going to be like, wait a minute. Wasn't there some fireflies that was supposed to make a cure? Because they found out that there was a girl that was immune. Oh, that's her. So there's a lot of ebbs and flows to that. So I can see both sides to it. Me, again, Ellie would have been a pill. Ellie would have been in pill form or like, you know what I'm saying? Like the jab shot. She would have been the jab. You know what I'm saying? After I was done with her. You know what I'm saying? Would have left her right there and would have been out. You know what I'm saying? Give me my money. I'm gone. You know what I mean? So, yeah, exactly. Kind of like when Norma was asked, she was like, you're the girl. Oh my God, you're the immune girl. So Joe was seeing the whole entire time, of what was going on. And he was like, and then, Tommy's wife was like, what I said about you being a refugee. And like, nah, because she is grateful that, Uncle Grumpy is there or whatever, but he is kind of grumpy. But, but Seth was wilding out for this one. You know what I mean? If my man got pushed, and everything, he was like, yep, let's go take a walk. And this is the scene that we're seeing in episode 1. Now we get to see in its full extent from Joel's point of view. Joel comes in, the guitar that she had, that he had, it was just, I think it wasn't even standing up. It was like laying on the floor. He goes out, he was playing it. He effed up. You know what I mean? And now we get to see the reconciliation, for what they did. And then again, they deserve Oscars, both of them. They said, do you really want to see your loved ones turn? I don't. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't. And then you got to shoot, you got to kill them anyway. But again, so Ellie and Joe have they finally have their conversation, and she start asking the question about Marlene, the fireflies, what happened, all of that. He starts questioning her about, about Dina. Do you like her? You should be happy to, he came to terms with her, you know, being a lesbian. So he was like, she'd be happy to to have you. And you was talking about you lied to me. You know what I mean? You gave me the same look. It was like, I already knew. I already knew. And then he started questioning about the Fireflies. Was there any other immune people? Like it said in the caption, like, nope, you were the only one. You know, um, and he wanted to save her. And he was like, this was my purpose. You know what I mean? It was like my purpose was to die to save everyone else. And you selfishly kept me alive. Where the only person in the world probably was able to make a cure out of me. You know what I mean? And he did. He took her choice from her. You know what I mean? And he was like, look, he was like, you might not understand right now. I'm gonna pay the price, and he knew. And that's why in the episode 2, when they let him go, he was like, look, just get it over with. Because he already knew. He already knew what he did was wrong. You know what I mean? But, he was like, you don't know now because you don't have kids, and maybe you will do in the future. But, once you have your own, you'll understand. And again, I have lost a child before. So, you do get clingy to a kid, your children. You know what I mean? After that loss. So I understand that. So there's a lot of duality in here, but he did keep her from her purpose. You know what I mean? And now that she killed Nora, now again, we know that she loved him. And then I think after the loss, because they're basically flipping on each other. Now, she is now no better than what Joel did, because now she's killing, she's trying to kill Abby for selfish reasons. So it's the crazy part. But that was the end of the episode. Joe crying in that moment almost felt childlike, like how a parent will scold the child for doing something they knew they should not be doing. Exactly. And it was just sad. I mean, it was very emotional, very sad, but one of the best episode this season, point blank period. The best episode. But what did you guys think about this episode? Let me know in the chat or put it in the comment section below and kind of let me know what you guys think about this.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
All right, I got to get up out of here. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this recap of we're getting ready to do the season finale. Next week is a season finale. So we'll be back next week, next Monday, for the season finale. I'm going to work on this video when I get home. Hopefully I can get it up and running, because I don't know if we're gonna have Blurred AF tonight. I got to get in contact with Blue. You know what I mean? So that is going to be that. But so hopefully I can just get a video out around that time slot, so you at least have something to watch at that time slot. But what did you guys think about this episode? Put in the comment section below and let me know what you guys think. But again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so you can never, ever miss one of my videos again. Until next time, I'm going to holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, man. Enjoy the rest of you guys this Monday. Where is my outro at? Look, you already know. I got to go. Wait a minute. You're telling me the video's over? What? Huh. Okay, I guess so. If you have came to this portion of the video, thank you so very much for sticking to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that little bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. And if you really want to, you don't got to, go ahead and follow the social media links that's down below. Until next time, I'll let you guys later. Peace and vibe higher, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself.